one of the adabs of the gathering, when an opportunity is given, you should make the most of that. You shouldn't just make up a question for the sake of it. But I'm sure you have lots and lots of questions
sisters,
you want to ask.
If sisters, daughters have, they can write it and send it down, inshallah.
If the sisters upstairs and the daughters and the students, if they've got a question, please write down your question on a piece of paper and send it downstairs. Ji, brothers.
What kind of things can a person do to increase their haya, like Usman?
What kind of thing person can do to increase their haya? They go through purification, meaning from things which are against haya, train themselves from the things by force. They should train themselves to stay away, and then a person it becomes their second nature. And so the answer is tazkiyah, purification of these, because they are acts of, you may say, immodesty. So firstly, actually practicing that, and with that also which helps is the concept of the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the belief that Allah Azza wa Jal is with me. Why a person becomes actually practicing haya? Because he feels the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He knows Allah is with us, watching us. And when this thing overwhelms him, when this belief becomes alive, it is difficult for him to do anything against haya. Like now as well, if you are doing something, let's say you are on the computer, they say that those people who watch other things which unlawful activity, that they should have a person with them. If another brother is sitting, another person is sitting, so it will help them to actually, they will practice haya because there is a person, there is a brother, they have the children there. When a person will really have this belief, Allah is with him, and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam will be informed of his. So inshallah. So this one thing, and the tazkiyah. Now this doesn't become with what I am saying to you. It is a process. It takes few months to actually go through that. And that's how these Sahaba Ikram and the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, they, for many, many months and years, they were going through this process. And then actually they attained these things. So I advise you go through the course of tazkiyah nafs and purification of the body, mind, heart and soul. And this is because once Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that practice haya. The Sahaba Ikram said, Ya Rasulullah, we already practice haya. We are actually, the Prophet ﷺ said, no, this is not the haya which I am talking about, the haya which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala deserves to be practiced towards him. And then they said, what is it, Ya Rasulullah ﷺ? And the Prophet ﷺ mentioned about head and what it contains. Save yourself from the sin, from the head. And what does it contain? The eyes, the ears, the mouth, and actually also the lower part and what it contains, actually near the heart and things, and the Prophet ﷺ mentioned. And then not to make dunya your purpose but akhirah. And he mentioned one or two other things, and he said that who practices this, he will get haya. So inshallah, now if you want to learn more about this read this hadith or keep it with you. After you can ask a brother for a reference or the, so Rasulullah himself mentioned. And when you want to manifest and materialize that hadith, basically going through the course of Tariqah Muhammadiyah, the Prophet ﷺ methodology, and then a person, alhamdulillah, can achieve. Alhamdulillah. We, the people of dunya, also practice Hiya, but we are practicing. Hiya means that you consider someone else is looking and then you act modestly. But we are practicing, but in a different way. In a different way. We are practicing from the people of dunya. See, one of the sunnah Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was that he didn't stare at people. It's against the adab, it's against the etiquette to look at people. Whenever he, even Sahaba Ikram said he looked at the majlis, it was a vague type look, like actually a surface, a shallow type look actually we just covered. So it's toward the mashayikh and adab, or even normal people, a person shouldn't. This is also, because if you practice there, then you will be able to guard your eyes from even actually where unlawful looking. So now and then, Sahaba Ikram didn't look at the Prophet ﷺ very often, but actually only when he ﷺ was paying attention somewhere else or something in the end. So, but the Prophet ﷺ, the Sahaba Ikram said that they, like I'm, for example, sitting in you now actually to look very and focus on you, ये भी हया के खिलाफ, ऊंचे दर्जे के हया के खिलाफ, मर्दों की तरफ भी, बुजुर्गों की तरफ भी गौर से नहीं देखना चाहिए कि बुजुर्गों ने अब नबी अलैहिस्सलाम से औलिया अल्लाह से कौन सा, लेकिन लिखा है हमेशा ये अदब के खिलाफ है कि सालिकीन का और यानी मशाइख की तरफ या बड़ों या किसी भी तरफ भी गौर से, especially Rasulullah said, don't stare at people who have any disability, any, for example, they are less able, they have any kind of abnormality or subnormality, that don't look at them. हमारी कितनी बुरी आदत है, हम दूसरे, मैं कह रहा हूँ नेक लोगों को भी ना देखो गौर से. भाई ये आप अलैहिस्सलाम का तो ये तरीका है कि भाई नेक लोगों को भाई सरसरी सी नज़र है, कहीं उधर तवज्जो. तो यहाँ से हया शुरू होती है प्रैक्टिसिंग. हम आंखें फाड़ फाड़ के जानवरों की तरह जो भी है उसी तरह फिर दूसरों को भी बना दे. तो जब बंदा हलाल मामले में भी इतना गौर नहीं करता तो वो हराम मामले में किस तरह देखेगा फिर. Then he is going to. But these Sahaba Ikram, Rizwanullahi alayhim ajma'in, they mention the vision, the glances of the Prophet ﷺ, that how he looked, whenever he looked at staring at someone, and when there was a gathering, he was looking, and if he looked, it was just a glance, you may say, at the gathering, and not focusing on one person specifically, unless there is a need or something. So this is also from the actually practicing the Hiya. So I was saying that we are practicing Hiya, but the wrong shaitanic type Hiya. One is actually Hiya, which is actually Islamic Hiya, modesty, the true one. One is actually what we are practicing. Also, you see, we dress how other people will look and praise us. This is a Hiya. This is like you are considering how other will look. I'll have hairstyle, how others will look. I will walk, how other will look and praise me. So I am considering other. This is also a kind of Hiya, but I am doing it for the wrong people, for the wrong reason, and actually so that I have a good car so people can look. But the same thing when it is transferred toward Allah and His Messenger and Akhirah and Salihin, that becomes Hiya. तो हम पहले ही हया कर रहे हैं, गलत तरीके से कर रहे हैं. हम भाई दुनिया क्या कहेगी, वो यार क्या तुमने शक्ल, वो दुनिया क्या कहेगी, लोग क्या कहेंगे. भाई यही हया, एक ये चीज़ है. एक है अल्लाह पाक क्या कहेगा, Rasulullah says, what will the pious say, what will the angels say, ये हमारे साथ फरिश्ते हैं, रात दिन रह रहे हैं, भाई ये क्या कहेंगे, मैं गाली दे रहा हूँ, मैं गलत कर रहा हूँ, तो अपना ये अपना होती है। तो इस तरह बंदा जब हलाल मामले में भी कोशिश करे एहतियात की, तो फिर हराम से बचने में मदद होती है। इस तरह अल्लाह जल्ल मजदहू ने हमें जो प्रैक्टिस दी है तकवा हासिल करने के लिए, हया इख्तियार करने के लिए, तो रमज़ान की शक्ल में, तो वो हलाल के मामले में भी फरमाया रुक जाओ। जब हलाल के मामले से बंदा रुकता है, हलाल खाना नहीं खाता, हलाल बीवी है उसके पास नहीं लेटता, तो फिर जो है उसका जो है वो हराम से बचना भी आसान होता है। तो औलिया अल्लाह भी इसी तरह, इसको वर्क़ कहते हैं। सैयदना अब्दुल क़ादिर जिलानी वर्क़ का मतलब ये कि बहुत सारी हलाल चीज़ों से भी एहतियात करना कि हराम में ना पड़ जाए बंदा। So what I mean actually, to even to abstain from many halal things which a person fears that will lead him possibly to actually haram. So in actual fact, तो ये होती है चीज़। But anyway, the actual practical solution is following the purification course, and alhamdulillah, a person can attain.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. As we're talking about seeing, looking at your parents with a loving glance gets you the swab of Hajj. Looking at the scholars and ulama and the mashayikh and your teacher also is an act of ibadat. So if we sit here and look at you for that reason, for gaining ibadat, how can we use that look for positiveness and gain reward?
Focus on the question. Do not focus on anyone here, me or anyone else. But focus on the question is actually that looking at the Prophet ﷺ made Sahaba Ikram the Sahabi. But I am saying that look shouldn't be staring, focusing that you are making them actually, that they are fully aware what you are doing, etc. No, that look is actually a look, a passing look, a passing glance. And especially as I said, that when they are not actually paying attention to you, they are paying attention to something else, that is the time if a person wants to do that. With love and respect, yes, that's a passing glance and thing. So this is the normal actually adab. Unless a person is completely free with someone or totally like the Sahaba Ikram Ridwan said that none of us actually had this courage out of respect and honor to look at the Prophet ﷺ with very much focus, and it was only some Sahaba Ikram, Shaykhain and Sayyidina Ali and others actually that they would look. That's why when they, many of the companions, when they visited Sayyidina Uwais al-Qarni radiallahu anhu, and he asked about the eyebrows of the Prophet ﷺ. Now how can a person not be aware when he is in the company of Rasulullah ﷺ now and then? But they didn't, because they never looked with so focus. It was just there was a robe, the Hiya, there was a majesty, there was dignity, there was night. So they had never focused on that, how his blessed eyebrows was actually, that they were actually, you may say there was space in between, or they were actually together. So Sayyidina Uwais al-Qarni knew because he focused on spiritually. So spiritually you can as such. So he mentioned. So this is the Hazrat Amr bin al-As, great Sahabi, who actually conquered Egypt when Egypt entered Islam, the country. And when he was passing away from this world on his bed, and he was weeping the fear of Allah and accountability, and his sons and daughters and wife, they were saying that you have spent long time with Rasulullah from Meccan period to Madinian period, and you have fought wars in the company under the supervision of the Prophet ﷺ, and served in Sayyidina Abu Bakr's time, Sayyidina Umar's time, and so many victories. And so they reminded him of good deeds so that he feel comfortable. And he began to weep, and he said that you say I have company long time Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But if someone says to me, mention the features of the Prophet alaihi salatu wasalam, I cannot mention the features because I have never looked at him fully, actually. And that's why the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam features, they are come from either his family, like Imam Hassan, Hussein, radiallahu anhu, Sayyidina Ali, or that women who was not a Muslim at that time, who in the journey when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was coming from Makkah Sharif to Medina Sharif, in the way, and she mentioned the Hiya, the features of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which comes in the hadith, and we don't find much from other Sahaba, and that is the reason that they knew that Rasulullah was the most handsome, beautiful person, but they hadn't actually. So this was also as a adab and haya and these matters. So for Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, even before announcement of prophethood, one person says that I met the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, and I said to him, I will come here, just stay here, I'll come here after some time. And I forgot. And I came after a long time, maybe it was many hours, or it was 1 day passed, or 2 days passed in one riwayah. And Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam was still standing or in that place. And he only said that you have put me in difficulty, and I was waiting for you. So a person who practices Hiya, he actually thinks, if I've said something to someone, I'll give you money tomorrow, or I'll meet you, he feels embarrassment, he feels actually Hiya, that it is for him matter of life and death. Or if I don't see that person, if I don't, for example, give this to him, if I don't actually meet him, as I have said. So Hiya then starts affecting other things. And for others, it's just a matter. You ask them, oh, I forgot, I didn't remember. Oh, actually, and it's normal thing to get money from people and to borrow money and not return actually on time, or actually for those people. So Hiya then not only in the matters of you may say gender, or actually in other matters, when a person have a Hiya, it affects all of these matters, his dealings, his way of dressing, his way of dealing, his way of talking, his choice of words and other matters. ठीक जज़ाकल्लाह. If there's nothing else, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك.